Are you ready to rock?
Yeah!
So, this is a new series I'm calling Mystery Arcade, except we're starting with a historical slant, so it's going to be called History Arcade, which was great planning on my part.
The historical the historically mysterious arcade.
Yes.
Mysteriously historically arcade.
Horistical
Horistical.
arcade. That works for me. So we're starting with the space year 1980.
1980.
Because I would have done Space Invaders, but I don't think we need any more Space Invaders for the time being.
Uh-huh.
So we're starting with 1980. What game do you think it's going to be?
Pac-Man. Yay!
So, you like Pac-Man, don't you?
I like Pac-Man.
So today we're going to be looking at the arcade version of Pac-Man, obviously.
Not very good at Pac-Man.
That's okay. You don't have to be.
Who am I?
Who are you? Well, you tell me.
You're in charge.
This is my brother, who I'm going to call Captain Scott because his anonymity is sacred.
Look how good I am at Pac-Man.
Yeah, this is great. He's so good you've got a game over and you're not even putting any coins in yet.
Yay, I got a ghost!
That's like coming third out of 2 in a race.
So you'll have to forgive me because I have a slight case of man flu today.
Man.
So I may not be on
Fake news.
firing on
Fake
all
news.
cylinders.
Fake news.
But I will do my best.
Would you like me to insert a coin for you?
Yes, please.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go. It's going well so far. He's going down the bottom wing. Hey, hey, hey.
It's hard with a stick.
You moaned that you were using the...
Oh.
Straight in. Straight in.
I do that noise. I should explain. I'm a teacher and I do that noise if my kids get something wrong at school.
This is the necessity for the anonymity.
Ha ha!
What was that? What are you doing? Going round in circles.
Ah! Oh.
So, did you know that each of the ghosts... This is a very early example of artificial intelligence in games.
Go on.
Because each of the ghosts has a different style of attack. You might not be able to tell. But I think Blinky, the red one, he chases you around. The pink one... I can't remember what the pink one's called.
Clyde, isn't it?
No, that's the orange one. Pinky. Of course it's Pinky, because he's pink. The pink one tries to cut you off. The blue one, Inky, he avoids you. I think. Well, he's not avoiding you at the moment.
Ah!
I'm pretty sure his pattern is to try and avoid you where possible.
You need the orange one.
Eh?
Game over.
Well done. Straight away. Game over. Within like 5 minutes.
So the orange one avoids.
No, the blue one kind of tries to avoid you. And the orange one just does whatever the hell he wants.
So he's just his...
He's a wild card.
Noble Six.
Can't predict him. Yeah. He's a hyper-lethal vector.
Ah!
What are you doing?
Can't get out of this corner.
We'll have to double team it. I'll be on the keyboard.
Oh no! Haha!
Out as well, he's using an Xbox One controller. He's using the analog stick to control.
Yeah!
It's not going very well.
Overkill.
Because I wasn't told
Oh.
beforehand that a controller was required.
So when this was released, how was it available?
In the arcades.
On what kind of thing? Was it one of the big, classic...
So you had two... right. So it first came out in Japan, obvs, because the games were only made in Japan back then. And it came on the large upright cabinet. And the original name for the game was Pac-Man, as in a hockey puck.
Ah, because he's round.
Yes. Well, that may be the reason. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, no, I do know the reason. The reason is that the word puck is kind of onomatopoeia in Japan for when you're hungry. So instead of sort of the traditional belly grumbling thing that we have over here, when their cartoon characters are hungry, they do this sort of thing, which is onomatopoeized, is that a word? As puck. So they go puck, 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 puck. Hence why it's called Pac-Man, because he's hungry and he's eating all the time. Now, they changed it to Pac-Man in the US. Reason being that they figured out
They're Americans.
If some kid comes along with a permanent marker and sees the letter P in puck, Pokemon. You
Oh, yeah. Yes, endless fun.
Yeah. Changed it to Pullman, and can't have that.
I can only focus on one ghost at a time.
Right, well, we shall move on now.
Okay.
So, I'll just get my notes because I've forgotten which one we're doing.
So professional.
Shut up. So next, we have a rather infamous version of Pac-Man, which is the Atari 2600 version. You can already see why it was...
I can't see that.
Yeah. So, this was released shortly after the arcade. I believe it was... Well, it says up there 1982. So they had 2 years to get this right.
And they failed.
They failed. This was on the Atari 2600, also known as the Atari VCS. I'm not sure if... Actually, this can't be 1982 because at the bottom it says 1981.
That may have been when it was made, but it may not have been released until 1982.
I think would be... Oh, no, because this is the PAL version, so it won't have come out here until the following year.
So why...
Even so.
No, go on. Carry on. I'll ask my question in a minute.
Okay. So the VCS was a very early home console. Very, very, very popular in the United States. Not so big over here. We had home computers, which we'll get onto. And this is what they produced. Keep in mind that the version of Space Invaders on the 2600 was very, very good indeed, and you've seen that. So this is...
In your amazing documentary.
Kind of a travesty. So what was your question?
Why does this look the way it does, and yet the one we've just played looks so much better, and presumably plays so much better?
The reason is hardware in arcades was at the forefront of technology back then. Well, perhaps not the forefront, but on the leading edge. They were super expensive to produce and super expensive to buy. So when you got your home version on your little tin pot console, you know, they didn't have it anywhere near as much power until around the year PlayStation was released. That was at the point where they sort of got parity. So, shall we play it?
I have another question.
Uh-huh.
Is there online multiplayer? Can I buy some loot boxes for this? Can I get a new skin to improve my little pack dude?
Does it look like there are loot boxes in this game? That's one positive feature of it. So, I believe for this you have to press F1 and then F2. And away you go. You can use the D-pad on here. So this is what, when people played Pac-Man at the arcades and they thought, oh, I want to play that at home, this is what they got.
I can't move.
Okay, I don't know why that'd be.
I can imagine being 6 years old.
Oh, hang on, because there's 2 players, even though I picked 1 player. I'm pretty sure I did.
So excited about playing Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And then
coming
home, and it's here.
Yeah.
It doesn't look the same, but it's here.
We've somehow managed to start in 2-player mode, despite the fact that there are no controls for 2.
Well, that's your fault.
Yeah.
This one is a lot less responsive and a lot slower, and does not make me happy. No, that doesn't work either.
Okay, that might have fixed it. Right. So, how long can you survive? Notice that the maze, instead of being sort of a cohesive and reasonable shape that you can sort of go around and what's the word I'm looking for?
Navigate.
Mm-hmm. It's got a flow to it, hasn't it? Whereas this one's just like a lot of walls. Also notice how the ghosts flicker. There's a reason for that. You see, they couldn't... You may think that it's to do with them being ghosts and they sort of wanted this sort of spectral effect.
No, I think it's to do with the ability of the CRT televisions to provide that resolution and the movement.
You're on the right track. What it is, the programmers couldn't work out how to have 4 things on the same screen. So what happens is, if you were to look at this frame by frame, there'd only be 1 ghost on every frame.
Jenkins, we need 4 ghosts! Why, boss, I don't think that's possible.
At least that's my understanding of
I
it.
can imagine a Perry White kind of situation. I don't care if it's impossible, Lois, you get me that story. You get me those ghosts. This version is a lot easier.
It's also naff.
Because the ghosts are slower.
Yeah, they are significantly slower, aren't they?
Do not know what they're doing. There is no strategy. That noise is horrendous. However, I can see the appeal of, like I said, being 6 years old, Dad's taking you to the arcade, and you've played Pac-Man, and you're so excited, and then you wake up on Christmas morning, and here it is.
Here it is.
A little different, but nonetheless, Pac-Man.
Okay, so that's the 2600 version of Pac-Man. Are you impressed?
That's 2600. So the previous one the first one we played was the arcade one that was released in 1980, the original game. This one was the home version that you could go and buy because you were so excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one we're going to play is...
So this is the Atari 8-bit version.
Okay.
And the Atari 8-bit was a line of home computers, so this was the one you would be playing if you were one of the few Atari 8-bit owners in the UK.
Oh, right, okay.
So in the UK, the 2600...
You were going to say the few people who had friends.
The exact opposite.
I've just offended a lot of people's dads. Go on.
Yeah, that's the market this was, because the 8-bits were home computers. And in the 80s, home computers were very, very niche, even more niche than game consoles. But they were much bigger in the UK than in the US, where game consoles were the thing to have. So as you can already see, this version is head and shoulders above the one we've just played, which is funny because it would have come out around the same time.
It's looking very similar as well to the original. Doesn't look quite there, but it's looking very similar.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can kind of see the dissonance between arcade hardware and home hardware at the time.
Yes.
But this was more powerful at the cost of being much more expensive. Because it was a home computer, you could do a lot more than just games on it.
Sorry about the strange noise. The cat has just interacted with the microphone.
She just rubbed her bottom on the mic. So you will be needing this.
Uh-huh.
All you need to do is press start. Ready.
Ah, yes, it looks more like the original.
Yes.
The ghosts look a little bit...
The ghosts look hilarious.
Cuter, if anything. It sounds better as well.
Mm-hmm. It does look a little less responsive to me.
Yeah, it's a bit more sluggish. Mm-hmm. Although the dude's a little bit... Look at him, he's manic.
He's going for it, isn't he? The cherries look a bit blocky, as you can see.
Yes.
But
again, I can't complain.
That's a fair statement.
If I was of the time and someone got this for me and we had a little bit more, money to play with, I would be very happy with this. I cannot.
You can use the D-pad for this one if you want.
Oh, that's better. Yes. Modern technology and old games do not mix. It's getting down these little gaps that's hard. It's timing the thing to...
I do note that the Ghosts AI doesn't seem to have...
improved.
Well, it doesn't seem to be there at all. They just seem to be floating around wherever they want. Like, they're all at the bottom there, whereas you're at the top, so... And you're still quite considerably faster than them.
Yes. Well, I guess that it had to be... had to be a little bit easier.
Why is that?
Well, because when you're in an arcade, you go out, you take your quarters.
You take your roll of quarters.
And yeah, it can be difficult because you're going out for the challenge. You're going out to have a... I want to say a social time, but...
Well, it was. It really was. That if you look at old photos of people at arcades, you can see crowds of people. I mean, when games like this were released, when new games came out, they'd bring them into the arcade, they'd turn the volume up massively so you could hear it, and you'd have crowds of people around these games.
And it was always that guy with the short sleeve shirt, brown corduroy trousers, a little moustache.
Game over.
What I was saying was, it's okay for an arcade game to be hard, difficult, because you're out and it's a challenge and you can just move on to another one. When you're at home...
it made the arcade people a lot more money, because if it was hard...
Yes. But when you're at home, you want it to be a little bit easier so you're not feeling defeated all the time.
But on the other hand, couldn't you argue that when you're at home, you've got infinite plays for free? You've already bought the game, so you can just play it and play it and play it.
Yeah.
Therefore, it should be harder because you can play it more often. Whereas with the arcade, you might only be able to go, say, once a week. And if you're not very good at the game, then you're not going to get very far, right?
Which is why you get this. to validate your existence.
So you can play this at home, then go back to the arcade and show them big bullies who's boss.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's 1980s culture in a nutshell.
The map design, because this is identical to the original, isn't it?
Yes.
The map design on the previous one was dreadful.
It was.
Because
it was
you could move up and down those blocks either side and kind of avoid everything.
Yeah, it was just like repeated pattern, wasn't it?
Whereas this, you kind of got to think about where you're going,
Yeah.
what your next move's going to be. You've got to strategize a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And with the AI ghosts in the first version, that was more challenging because you could kind of think, right, he's going to come after me in this way. Those ghosts are going to do this kind of thing. Whereas this one, it's a bit easy because you know they're just kind of milling around.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there we go. So this has been the easiest version so far because you've actually finished more than one level of it. So shall we move on to the final version we have today?
Yes.
So this is an unofficial version.
Oh.
You will need the keyboard for this one because it's for DOS. So this is it. Oh, is that the music? Yes, I think I remember the music. So, ready? Go. Keyboard. I said keyboard.
You didn't say keyboard.
I did. I definitely said.
You will need the keyboard for this one.
Now I've hit the mic.
Well done.
Where am I starting? Oh, it's on its side.
It is on its side.
It's green. Oh. This is... I'm not prepared for this.
Right. So this is an interesting version.
This is terrible.
This is an unofficial clone of Pac-Man for MS-DOS. Well, not technically MS-DOS, I'll explain in a moment. But it's on its side, and that makes more sense because arcade cabinets had vertical monitors quite a lot of the time, which is why Pac-Man is as it is. But this is on a horizontal monitor, so it makes sense for it to be on its side, really. As you can see, graphics-wise, it is...
Say all that again, I didn't get any of that.
I'm not saying it again.
Why is it good that it's on its side?
Because it's on a horizontal monitor. Whereas the original arcade one was on a vertical monitor. So it's wider that way.
Oh, right, okay, yes.
It does make it a bit more difficult, though, I think. So, yes, PC Man. Graphically, it is
terrible.
Very close to the arcade game.
Is it?
Yeah. In fact, it's almost identical, except for the green.
That red ghost is fast.
That red ghost is very fast. But so are you. Look how fast you are.
Yeah, but he's fast. I'm not as fast as he is.
Now, I wanted to bring this version up. A, because it's on 80s PCs, and that's kind of my remit. B, I wanted to talk about the format a little bit. So this wasn't a DOS game, as such. What it is a PC booter game. Now, can you guess what that might be?
No.
PC booter game is a 5 1/4 inch floppy disk, or sometimes 3 1/2 inch. Put in your PC, and it boots straight off that disk. So you had no chance there.
My apologies for screaming. Ah! Oh.
So a lot of games were distributed in this style. Wow, they are so much faster than you. This is an unfair version of Pac-Man.
So you could boot the entire thing off a floppy disk?
Yeah.
Ah!
This is awful.
He's
PC
fast.
Why are they so fast?
Oh. I can't do this one. My fingers aren't fast enough for this.
No, it is. This is unofficial arcade parts back in the 80s for you.
They hadn't figured it all out.
No, they hadn't.
So would a dude or a couple of dudes just be sat in a basement making this?
Yes, that is exactly what they did.
So they might not be programmers. They might just be...
Well, they had to be programmers if they wanted to program anything.
Yeah, but they might not be, experienced programmers that could get their subtleties just right.
This is right. But you've also got to remember hardware once again. Now, I think here they tried to go style over substance a little bit.
Yes.
They've seen Pac-Man being played, but I don't think they've actually played it themselves. Or they might have played it a little bit, which is why there's a lot of inaccuracies with the arcade version.
They may have played one of the two. previous versions
They may have done.
and tried to make it harder.
But why would they do that? You see, the people who made this were more likely to be bedroom programmers, so they didn't really have a motive for making it so difficult.
They may be purists. Well, the original
I'm
Pac-Man
gonna-
was a lot harder than this. We should make it harder.
Right.
I
It
shouldn't
doesn't
say that,
it
so I might
doesn't-
offend you
it
American
does.
viewers.
It is very unresponsive.
Yes.
Now, I will just point out we're not playing on original hardware here, so that may have something to do with it. But wow, okay. I will also mention that the PC this is sort of emulating is a lot faster than the PCs running this would have been, and there's no real way to get it cycle accurate as such, which makes sense to the viewers, perhaps not to you, and I can't be bothered explaining it now.
I don't care anyway.
It's not easy to get it accurate unless you've got a PC of the time that you can play this
Yes,
as it was
yes.
intended. So
So this
better.
isn't a lifelike reconstruction.
However, if it was that dependent on PC speed, then it would all be super fast. As it is, there's only really the. I picked up that power pellet then.
No, you didn't.
No,
It's
but I
there.
did though. I ran into it.
It's there. He got to you 1 pixel too soon.
Now, I will just mention as well. What is this all about?
3,400.
He just gave up. They had a different zero. How does that even work? Yeah, that.
Why candy canes as well?
I don't know. Maybe they couldn't. Well, yeah, because you have the colours, don't you?
This is ugly.
It is. This is done in CGA, which is a colour palette, or sort of a hardware video mode.
Okay.
So this was before EGA and VGA, and we'll get onto what they mean when we do more Mystery Arcades.
Good.
So that just about concludes our Pac-Man episode. But it's not the end of this episode because we have one more game to play.
Ooh, a mystery game. History
Um,
mystery arcade.
Right. So this is the sequel to Pac-Man.
So.
Yeah. So. Girl power. innit?
Whoa.
This is the sequel to Pac-Man called
I
Mrs.
can't
Pac-Man,
hear anything.
Or Ms. Pac-Man. Let's put
Okay.
some coins in. And start the game. You should be able to use the joystick or the keyboard. And as you can see, it's very, very similar, but I would like you to at least try and get to level 2.
It's a lot smoother.
Yeah, so this was released, according to the title screen, it was released in the same year as Pac-Man, but you can see it's got a bit more polish to it. There's a slightly more production value. You can see the cherries there bouncing around. The title screen had a bit more pizzazz.
I died.
Ms. Pac-Man herself doesn't
Has
have a proper death animation.
A bow, lipstick, and a beauty spot.
Yeah,
Because
I
she's a
think-
girl.
I think it's a bit on the nose.
Not at the time it wasn't.
The cabinet artwork for this is terrifying, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't know anything about this other than that she was in the horrendous 3D nightmare version from at some point. Okay, that was easy,
Yes.
really. This is level 2. This
Yes.
is no different.
I was under the impression that level 2 was different. I have been lied to.
Your research was not thorough.
No, it wasn't. It may be every 5 levels, I'm not sure.
I'm not doing level 5.
So, that concludes our Pac-Man episode.
Awesome.
Did you enjoy that?
I did.
Would you like to record another?
Yes.
Good.
So, we'll see you
See you for the next
next
one.
week.
Next week, when we'll be playing a different game.
Hooray!
Here's a little sneak preview. So, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Hang on, wrong way around.
No, that's right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's alright then. Bye.
Bye.